Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to dive into some wealth building wisdom today.
Always up for that. Who are we learning from this time?
We're cracking open Scott Galloway's The Algebra of Wealth.
Oh, nice. I've heard good things. What's the angle?
Imagine, your entire financial life is this bucket of sand.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
It's not much on its own, right?
Yeah.
But Galloway's point is that little by little, like those grains of sand, things add up.
The power of consistency over time. I like it already.
Right. And a lot of you have been asking for advice on building long-term financial security, so
Perfect fit then. Let's see what Galloway's got.
he doesn't sugarcoat, that's for sure. He's really open about the advantages he started with.
Being a white guy in California during a boom time kind of thing?
Exactly. He calls it being born on third base.
Yeah, inheriting a head start. I've heard him talk about that.
But this is what I appreciate, he doesn't dwell on it. He actually challenges this whole idea that everyone starts at the same starting line.
Which, honestly, can be kind of freeing.
Totally. Because then you can focus on what you can control, your own mindset, the actions you take.
Instead of getting hung up on comparisons, like,
Oh.
oh, they had it easier kind of thing.
Right. And he even says this whole hustle harder mentality, this myth that it's a pure meritocracy.
Can be harmful even.
Yeah, creates this pressure cooker where you never feel like you're doing enough.
Burnout city,
Huh.
population, everyone who buys into that.
Exactly. Galloway's big on finding dignity in all work, even if it's not your dream job, you know.
Using it as a stepping stone,
And each experience, like we were saying with the sand, adds to the bucket.
even if it's not the most glamorous job.
It's about being intentional,
Mm.
right? Like each job is an investment in your future self.
Instead of getting lost in that follow your passion hype that's everywhere.
Oh, for sure. So not about the cards you're dealt, but how you play them.
Bingo. And Galloway's a great example. He didn't come from money, built a career, had a huge successes, but also,
Bankruptcy.
yeah, that too. So he gets it. He's rebuilt multiple times, so he's living proof you can create your own path.
And he talks a lot about having the right people around you too. Like finding your kitchen cabinet, he calls it.
Love that analogy. Your own personal board of directors almost.
Right. So you're building this dream kitchen.
Yeah.
You need the appliances, the tools. Those are like your investments.
But the kitchen cabinet, that's the trusted advisors, mentors, people who've mastered the whole finance game.
Okay, I'm into it. So to build this cabinet, do you just walk up to someone and be like, be my mentor?
That's where Galloway gets kind of counterintuitive, actually. He's like, don't do that.
Really? Why not?
It's like any relationship, right? Forced mentorship is weird.
You want that genuine connection.
Exactly. He says true mentorship happens organically.
So less pressure, more showing genuine interest, asking good questions.
Yeah, and proving you actually value what they have to say. He frames it numerically, even.
Oh, how so?
He's all about the numbers, this guy. Says you only get like 10,000 asks in your life.
10,000. I've got to start budgeting those.
Right. So you better make them count. Asking for advice, opportunities.
Even investments, all that adds up,
Makes you think twice before asking what time it is.
for sure. Okay, so we've got mindset, the mentor network, being smart with your asks. What about this diversification thing? Galloway's a big proponent of that.
Huge. Remember that sand bucket? You don't want all your sand or your financial eggs in one basket.
He learned that the hard way. Oh,
Big time. Red envelope. His company.
that was rough.
He went all in, heart and soul, and for a while, massive success. Then 2008 happened.
And boom, everything crashed.
His whole world, man. From financial rock star to drowning in debt, all while having his first kid.
Oh, man, talk about pressure.
Yeah.
No wonder he's so big on diversification now.
Absolutely. Even with passion, best intentions, going all in is inherently risky. You need multiple investments, just like you need multiple skills in your career.
So it's about a strong foundation. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, like you said.
Exactly. It's about building an army of capital, as he puts it. Multiple income streams working for you.
So before we were talking about building an army of capital.
Right.
Which sounds kind of cool, but what's that actually mean in reality?
Galloway, he's big on this difference between being an earner versus an owner.
Okay.
So, like, imagine you're wealth building. It's a game, right? Earner, you're on someone else's field.
Playing by their rules.
Exactly. Trading your time for their money. But owner, you make the game.
Oh, interesting. So you're not just getting a paycheck.
Nope. You've got assets, stuff that generates income even when you're not working.
Passive income, that kind of thing.
Passive, semi-passive. The point is it's flowing into your bucket of sand 24/7.
So even while I sleep, the money's coming in. I like the sound of that.
Who doesn't? And this is where that diversification ties in, too.
Ah, right, because we were saying.
Can't put all your eggs in one basket. Your army, it's like different divisions, each with their strength.
Okay, so if one takes a hit.
The whole fortress doesn't crumble. This is where Galloway gets spicy, though.
Oh, how so?
He says one of the biggest weapons in your arsenal is taxes.
Wait, really? Most people I know try to avoid even thinking about taxes.
Oh, I know, right? But he's got a point. Understanding the tax code, how to work within it.
Not illegally, obviously.
No, legally, but strategically minimizing your burden. That's huge for building and keeping wealth. He even says, like, be a super tax avoider.
Which sounds kind of intense.
It's more about being informed. Rich folks, corporations, they've got strategies most people don't even know exist.
So how do we level the playing field then?
Galloway's big on expert advice. He's got financial advisors, tax pros, the whole 9 yards.
Makes sense, they know the ins and outs.
Like having a guide through this crazy maze of regulations. Now, not everyone can afford a whole team.
Right, but we can still learn.
Exactly. Educate yourself. Books, articles, seminars, even just the basics.
Capital gains, deductions, all that.
It's power. He even shares his own moves, how he structures things for tax benefits.
What, like, specific example?
Oh, yeah. Holding on to assets longer for lower capital gains, stuff like that.
Playing the long game?
Always. He also talks about different business structures, QSBs, for example.
QSBs. Break that down for me.
Qualified small businesses. Basically, if you're an entrepreneur, the IRS might give you special treatment.
Lower taxes, that kind of thing.
Yep, it's all about knowing the rules of the game. Building wealth isn't just earning, it's managing what you earn smartly.
Okay, so we've got the mindset, diversification, building our army, being tax savvy.
Yeah.
Anything else we're missing?
Well, this might seem obvious, but time, specifically its relationship with compound interest.
Back to the sand bucket.
Every dollar you save, invest, that's a grain. Now imagine those grains multiplying on their own.
Like exponentially.
That's compound interest. Earning interest on your interest, it's powerful stuff.
I'm picturing this mountain of sand growing bigger by the second. Makes me want to invest right now. But seriously, how do we make that happen?
2 words. Start early. The earlier, the better. Even small amounts over time.
Become huge.
Exactly. Galloway uses this example. Investing $1,000 a month, starting at 25.
Okay, so by retirement age.
Life-changing money, just from that consistent habit.
See, this is where I think people get tripped up. They're like, oh, I'll invest when I've got more.
Classic mistake. The earlier, the better. It's like planting a tree, you know?
Best time was 20 years ago. Second best is today.
Nailed it. Don't expect a tree or your investments to grow overnight. Patience, long game. That's the key.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about people who they feel behind, like they're in their 30s, 40s, haven't really started yet?
Totally valid. Not everyone has the luxury of starting young. Galloway gets that. But he says never too late.
Damage isn't irreversible.
Exactly. It might feel daunting, but every grain counts, right? Focus on what you can control. Savings rate, investment choices, keep learning.
Progress, not perfection.
There you go. So we've covered a lot. Army, compound interest. But there's more to it than just numbers, right?
Right, there's got to be more to wealth than just having a lot of it.
You got it. Galloway talks about aligning your money with your values, using it for freedom, purpose, relationships even.
It's funny, isn't it? We talk about wealth and it's all about security. Like, that's the end goal.
Totally. Numbers obsessed. Bigger savings, more investments.
But Galloway, he's like, hold on. There's more to life than just having stuff.
What's what you do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He talks about reaching this point where he had the money and it let him make different choices.
Not just retiring early, but like...
prioritizing time, experiences, relationships, giving back to stuff he cared about. That was wealth to him.
So it's aligning your money with your values. Money as a tool, not the goal itself.
Exactly. He's got this great phrase, buying back your time. Like once you hit a certain level, you can make choices that free you up.
Not just to not work, but to be more present for the things that matter. Family, passions, you name it.
And to give back, too. Galloway's big on that. Using wealth to make a difference, whatever that looks like for you.
So not necessarily huge donations, but just...
integrating it into your life, mentoring, supporting local businesses, every bit helps.
It's making generosity a habit, almost.
Totally. So as we're wrapping up this Galloway deep dive, what's the one thing you hope people take away?
Ooh, good question. I think it's that wealth building. It's not just one thing. It's the practical strategy, sure, but
But also mindset.
Yeah.
who you surround yourself with, and what you ultimately want your money to do for you and for the world.
Beautifully said. So for our listeners out there, feeling inspired, ready to take control, what's one small step they can take today?
Define what wealth means to them. Not just some generic idea, but their own values, their goals. What kind of impact do they want to have?
Because we get so caught up in the how-to sometimes we forget the why.
All about the why. That's your compass.
This has been amazing. Thanks for diving in with me.
Anytime. This stuff is fascinating.
And for everyone listening, remember, building wealth, it's a marathon. Be patient, keep at it. Those small steps add up. Until next time.